Hey, it's Rob with I Know Enough to Be Dangerous, here with my TYM again. I'm going to try to fix the block heater. It burned out the other day, so what I'm going to do is I ran a little bit earlier to warm it up a little bit, let it cool down, and now I'm set up with my new part I got from Napa, and I'm going to change this block heater. Hopefully it's pretty painless. The messiest thing is you got to drain most of the coolant out of it. It's got about 300 hours, so it's got the original coolant, so I don't know how good the original coolant is, so I'm going to put some name brand Prestone back in it, and so that'll be good, and we'll have our black heater again, so we won't have to use the salamander and the little magnetized oil pan heater. So have any questions, let me know. Put it in the comments. I know that other people have done this. I've seen a couple people do this before, adding them, but taking the old plug out. But this one actually malfunctioned on me. I'll put a picture what it did. It melted. It got a bunch of moisture in the waterproof seal there, so that's why it shorted out. It was on a timer. I don't keep them plugged in all the time. And this is the first time one of these block heaters have actually malfunctioned on me, and it's not a white label block heater. It's actually a Napa part block heater, so it's a name brand, but they don't come from the factory like this. You have your dealer install them, or you can. So again, like always, I'm just showing you how I do stuff. I don't recommend anything I do. So just showing you how you can do it yourself, and most of the time on a budget. So a couple of tools you'll need to get this task done is, you don't need a 3/4 inch ratchet or breaker bar, but that's what I have as far as the socket you need. So I instead of having an adapter. So you could do this with your normal 1/2 inch socket set, but you'd need an adapter to go from 1/2 inch to 3/4, because most of these bigger sockets are going to be 3/4. But the size is 1 3/8 inches. I don't know what that is in millimeters. So, and then I have an extension. It's about maybe a 16-inch extension, just enough to get it past the frame so I can get some leverage on it. I don't know how tough this is going to be in there, but it has gone, a bunch of heat cycles. So put the big socket on the heater like so. Make sure it's on there so you don't strip the corners off. Make sure it's going the right way. Ooh, you don't like that. Okay, what I didn't tell you is I do have a pail down there to catch the antifreeze. Oh, one thing I should do is probably release the pressure on the coolant system. Shouldn't have too much, it's been setting a while. All right, nothing there. Feels like it's coming pretty easy. Hopefully this doesn't get too messy. Take that off and do it by hand. Nothing yet. Oh, there we go. Well, I'm catching some of it. Supposedly there's only 2 gallons of coolant in this system. We're going to find that out. We're going to put that to the test. It's slowing down already. All right. Green coolant. It's a good sign to me. Okay. So that was pretty painless. And here's what the old one looks like. It's supposed to have 2 prongs in there. You can see it has 1 left, and that's all it is. Basically like a little water heater. So we'll let that drain a little bit. I got the new one here just to size it up, make sure it's the right one. Should be, but you can see the difference between 2 prong and 1 prong. But it's a good idea to size these up. I guess you cannot use a longer one in there. It must hit some internals. But so this one that came out installed by the dealer had Teflon on it, but they recommended at Napa you get this this stuff here. So I'm going to put this around the threads. I've seen a couple guys, they only go 3/4 the way around the threads. For some reason, it says clean, dry parts, gently squeeze, 1/4 inch of gel, edge of fastener, covering 5 to 6 threads, avoid, assemble, blah, blah, blah. Okay, they say go all the way around, so that's what I'm going to do. I've never gone 3/4 away. Most of the ones you see, they go 3/4 away around, leave that naked thread there, and they're supposed to coat it as it's turning, but you know, in my redneck mind, that doesn't make any sense to me, so I'm going to do what makes sense to me. This stuff's a little bit different than I've used. It's more like lip balm than thread sealer. But this is good to 400 degrees, I guess, which is perfect. More's better, right? Reinstall this, that thing. Hopefully it's the right size. Make sure not to cross thread. If it's not going easy, there's something wrong. So I got it started. Put this down before it gets everywhere. I put my gloves on because I'm a wimp. Used to be a lot tougher when I was younger. Get that snug. And I do not know the torque spec on this, so you might want to look that up. But I'm going to do the torquing like Derek, my buddy Derek from Ice Grip Garage does. Okay, that feels good. You probably want the prongs so they're parallel like this. So when the new, check that, the new prong goes on. Okay. I was looking for the other cord is gonna probably already put it on the wall of shame. But here's where the new cord goes in. But you want the pins lined up on the new block heater like this instead of like this, because it really has an up and down slot that it fits in. Otherwise it's going to be in the way of, what are we looking at? It's like a hydraulic pump and the starter. So a little bit more. Like it lines up pretty good, just a little bit more. I can do this without snapping this. How about that? Just a frog here more. There we go. Big frog hair. There, how about that? Oops. Oh, I seem to have the dropsies here. There we go. Let me see if I can bring in here a little bit, see what I got going on. You can see where the new block heater was installed right there. These are the two prongs side by side. You want them, you know, parallel or level, I guess, to each other so that they can run right down through here. Oh, that should be good. Put this on. So this one, this is the seal here that I think, the weatherproof seal here that, you know, didn't weatherproof seal last time, and it got water in there and shorted out these two little pins. So this has a little thing that tightens right down on there, and then try to where you want to run it. I think I'm going to run it right down through here, down to the frame. I can see if I can move that any reason. There we go. Let's tuck that in there. You're like so. Thread this on. And you want to make this, so this size is 1.25 inches, and I have a big box end wrench that I guess you could do with a pair of pliers. You don't want this super tight, but you obviously want it tight enough to squeeze that rubber down, otherwise you're going to have the same problem I did before. Probably a good idea to unhook your battery too. So let me get a pair of pliers. So now I got a box end wrench and a crescent wrench. We're getting redneck now. Get a little snugger, snug. There we go. Torque. As Derek says, torque. Never checked out Vice Grip's garage. He's got some cool stuff, even if you're not into trucks and stuff. He's very entertaining. All right. So now I have that, and I got it through here. Let me feed this down here. Last time it was where you plug it in, the cord was underneath this side of the tractor. That had nothing to do with it short circuiting, but it's my plug in the garage is on the other side. So let's put it over there, and hopefully, I think they put it on this side so you don't take off with the thing plugged in. I'm sure I'll never do that. So now basically just gotta fill it back up with antifreeze. I do want to run that wire. That kind of makes sense. On this side. All right, so now I have it kind of run. We'll make it so it doesn't catch it on anything. Bunch of different things you can wrap it around. Just don't attach it to anything that's hot or moving, anything like that. And, you know, try not to attach it to something that doesn't look very good. I'll get a zip tie for that, but I think we're good to go on that. We just need to always get something to kneel on too. Man, it's cold. Now I just have to fill it back up. So now we're set to top this back off. I already relieved the pressure before. That's cute. Little teeny tiny cap. I probably could do the long pour, but I'm not really looking for a challenge today. It'd be a lot easier if you took the loader off, and that's probably what the dealer would do, but you've got time for that, and it's way too cold. Hopefully I don't make a mess. Hoping I'll see it in the overflow before it overflows. Maybe not. Whoa. Not sure if I'm just slow down, I guess. There's one. Well, the specs say almost 2 gallons. Wish I had something to stand on so I could see. It's got a little overflow here. That actually slides out so you can empty it. But this coolant's not that old, so I'm not changing it. It's actually low on coolant when I open this hood, so I don't know if that... Oh. It's going into overflow now. Cool. Oops. See? Yeah, that comes right off so easy. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But I'm going to fill the overflow to the minimum. Just because I can, and probably because I'm supposed to. But it was low on coolant, so I don't know if that heater was leaking from the inside out. That's where the moisture came from, or I got some rain and snow and rain in there. I'm gonna fill this up to put a little on the ground, I guess. Put it up to the minimum. Well, maybe I should go halfway. There we go. Okay, so we got an air bubble in there. Probably should let that run, huh? Boy, that's hard. I got the pre-mixed antifreeze. Normally I don't do that because it's just more expensive, but in the time of the year, it'd probably be okay to do that. I don't have to mess with water out here, and don't do this at home. Oh, it's full. All right. We're good. Put the cap back on. You know, it kind of goes on one way. And then give it a little turn till she stops, and it's usually parallel with the radiator. So what I'll do is I'll run this, make sure there's no air bubbles in there, and then put the hood down. I knew a guy that forgot to put this back when he was working on it, and he put a little oopsies right here in his brand new tractor. Bent this down, but this is all metal, so it didn't do anything. Even the hood's metal, so it's built fairly tough. But I wish the loader arms were a little bit thicker, but you push it up and then just this locks it in place. See guys with a cutout one, like a diamond plate cutout, and I think that's a good idea. Just saves on this a little bit. And when you're doing mowing in a tall dingweed field, this gets plugged. So you got a good idea to bring one of those small blowers with you when you're doing it. But that's about it. Well, like I said, this is my experience with the engine block heater. Just take heed, just watch the moisture, maybe just unscrew that where it goes into the block heater every once in a while, check for moisture. Then you won't have the same thing happen to me. And good thing I was here and it was on a timer, otherwise probably would have lost my garage here. So again, thanks for joining me, and click that like button. Why not? Have a great day. Take care.